So thank you everybody for joining us today. My name is Angie Marquez. I'm one of the account managers here with Acumen, and will be your host today for the Acumen Webinar Wednesday. For today's topic, we'll be covering how you can easily manage your entire employee lifecycle with Isolved. In this webinar, Josh and Mike from the Isolved team will cover who they are, how does their technology work with Sage, and then we'll do a deeper dive into the live demonstration. Please note that today's webinar is in listen-only mode, so if you have any questions, please write them in the chat box and we'll answer near the end of the presentation. We have a lot to cover today, so for that, I will pass it on to Josh.
Thanks, Angie. Thanks, everybody, for hopping on today. Really excited for to show you guys Isolved. So just like Angie said, my name is Josh Burt. I'm the Senior Channel Manager for the Acumen Isolved relationship, and on the line we got Michael Migdal, Director of Sales, and then we also have Alex. She is our Senior Solutions Engineer that's going to be taking us through the demo. So we are excited to get started, and I'm going to pass it over to Mike, and he can cover a few talking points, and then we'll show the demo, and then we'll cover some questions and answers at the end.
Great, thank you. Angie, if you don't mind just jumping over to the next slide for me. So, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michael Migdal, as Josh mentioned. I am the Director of Sales here at Isolved. Just for an agenda of the presentation today, we'll talk a little about who Isolved is and how the technology works. Talk about some of the benefits that the technology brings to the Acumen clients and the integration with Sage. From there, we'll jump over to Alex and let her show you some of the highlights of the functionality within the system itself, and then kind of talk about how to get engaged with Acumen to bring in Isolved and get engaged with Isolved. If you do have any questions, though, just jump on into the chat feature and we'll make sure we address those. And otherwise, just at the end, we'll have a Q&A session as well. So a little bit about Isolved. We've been in business for a little bit over 37 years now. We used to be known as Infinisource, if that name rings a bell to anybody. But everything that we've done since day one is driven behind compliance. And over here at Isolved, we have a little bit over 168,000 clients in all 50 states that utilize our payroll technology, which we're going to show you here today, also called Isolved, to enhance the employee-employer relationship. Within Isolved, we process payroll for a little bit over 7 million employees now across the country, and they're being serviced in one of our 13 offices throughout the country. And we're a little bit over 2,400 employees as well internally. So it's provide clients with a very, very hands-on type of relationship. We like to believe that we're big enough to make a difference and still small enough to care. So some of the things that we have in place, including dedicated client service rep, localized models. We're all here to be able to help you to leverage the technology as a whole. So the Isolved People Cloud is our own proprietary platform that incorporates next generation technology and artificial intelligence to enhance the relationship that you have with your employees. Now, Isolved has a lot of unique features, but the most important one of all is to understand that it is one single system. It's one single database, one single sign-on with a bunch of different levels within it. So picture a big box with a bunch of different light switches that we could turn on and off to best fit your needs. So some of that functionality starts with talent acquisition, including applicant tracking and recruiting, where we take your position and we push it out to over 4,000 job boards for you with unlimited postings and no additional cost. It has the electronic onboarding, where it'll also have the employee do all their new hire paperwork online, but they'll be able to do things like e-verify and the work opportunity tax credits. From there, it takes on the mission critical functionality. So payroll, HRIS, time and attendance, benefit administration, and adding on additional functionality for performance reviews and learning management and much more, all driven behind that compliance aspect. So your organizations that are eligible for COBRA and ACA and EEO1 and FMLA, all of that management is done here within the system, where it fully integrates with all of the Sage products across the country. Okay. From here, the benefits for Isolved customers is having an employee retention and HR productivity savings. We have great pricing structures, which we'll jump in here in a minute. Very simplified compliance processes and accelerated onboarding. Implementation time is anywhere from 15 to 60 days. So it's very streamlined and process driven. For those of you that are familiar, this may or not familiar, this is called the Sapient Report. Sapient is an independent third party that does technology platform reviews, whether it be payroll, accounting systems, probably about 75 to 80 different industry specific platforms. What we've done here is us, along with all these other clients or organizations on the board here, we all provided 10,000 contacts for our clients over to Sapient for them to reach out and interview. They reached out to a little bit over 2,500 of them. We're not quite sure who they spoke with on the list, but we do know that they did meet with them. They've asked the same questions and utilized the same rating scale across the board. And for the second year in a row, you'll see over here that Isolved has ranked #1 in all categories. From this point on, I will turn it over to Alex Wisner. Alex is one of our senior solutions consultants. She is based out of Florida, and she will be taking you through a couple of the different sections within the Isolved platform, the electronic onboarding, our predictive people analytics, and then our learning management. So, Alex.
All right, perfect. And I do apologize. I had to come off mute there. We did swap screens, so I just want to confirm, Mike, Josh, on your end, are you able to see everything okay?
Yeah, it looks good, Alex.
Awesome. Yes. All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're located. As Mike mentioned, I'm in Florida, so it is afternoon for me. We will be walking through the demo, really following the life cycle of the employee. So starting with that onboarding process. Now, Mike had already touched on a few of the features and really how this can be beneficial for employers and the employee's experience as well. One thing to note with our onboarding experience that it is configurable based on the needs. What do you want to mandate? We have template capability, meaning if you have different groups of employees, full-time, part-time, different policies and procedures depending on the department or the team that you're hiring for, all of that can be set up ahead of time, making sure that as employees go through this experience, they're really only signing off and getting the documentation that's applicable to their role. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to put a lot of the autonomy on the employee's hands when it comes to getting onboarding completed. It does walk them through a very nice step-by-step wizard-driven format, making sure all those details that you want to collect or that employers want to collect is done so. All the way from personal details, we can capture those beneficiaries, dependents. Mike had mentioned this is an intelligently connected solution. So everything that's entered in on the employee's onboarding experience, any documents that are collected, it stays with this employee as they go through the process and become an active employee. They can get direct deposit set up right from the beginning. And then our tax engine wizard is built around compliance. So one thing to note is that Isolved, we are multi-state. We are going to recognize that worked in, lived in location, depending on the work location they're being hired into, and then the home address they enter in on that personal screen, our tool will automatically populate the appropriate tax documentation for them. Now, just as an example here, I'm located in Florida, so the only thing that I'm required to fill out when I go through onboarding is the federal W-4, but I have colleagues located in Pennsylvania, and it could come down to the side of the road they're located on. When it comes to assigning PSD codes, our system will generate all of that information. If you currently use E-Verify, we do integrate with the E-Verify account, making it really easy for those electronic I-9s to be completed. And then capturing that work opportunity tax credit. This is something that we handle in-house within Isolved, walking those employees through the 10 questions to see whether or not they qualify for the work opportunity tax credit, or you may hear us refer to it as the WOTC. Everything that we're looking at from an onboarding experience is very configurable. So my demo environment has us set up to collect certifications, but if this role that's being hired for does not require a license, we may want to leave that off of the onboarding tool altogether. We do certification or license tracking. So if this has an expiration date that we need to be aware of, our system can auto-generate communication, goes out to the employees, letting them know that their license is getting ready to expire in 30, 60, 90 days. Now, everything from onboarding can be done through the mobile device. So really comes in handy if you have employees going through onboarding prior to their first day of hire. There's no delay on getting documentation back to you if they need to upload a copy of their passport or if they're uploading a certification that's required. They can take a quick photo with their mobile device and have that uploaded directly. Just again, minimizing any delay getting this documentation back to you. Now, as the employees go through that onboarding experience, what they're doing is they're creating a self-service account for themselves. Now, we call this the adaptive employee experience. The first thing that I will share as I'm logged in here is I'm looking at Nicole's platform, her desktop portal. Everything she can do through the desktop, she can also do through the mobile device. We have an app that's downloadable if your employees would prefer to log in through their mobile device. Depending on what's being leveraged through Isolved, time and attendance, benefit enrollment, expense management. The employees will have as much access as you give them, able to maintain any of their personal information such as address changes, year-end tax forms, direct deposit, or downloading pay stubs. Now we are going to cover Learn and Grow today, so I'm going to navigate into my talent management. And as I do that, I do want to point out it is single sign-on. So when we're looking at the Learn and Grow platform, employees can easily log in. And I am going to switch gears here real quick. And they're going to be brought to their learning management dashboard. Now I'm looking at Olivia Jackson here. You can see next to Olivia's name, she has some gamification included if we wanted to roll out badges, ranks, different types of grade levels to incentivize employees logging into the platform, completing their training modules, whether they're assigned or elective. Our tool does come equipped with about 80,000 different training modules. These are going to cover all areas of your HR compliance, so all of your state sexual harassment, HIPAA, privacy data protection, OSHA training, but also looking a little bit more industry specific if you're looking for healthcare specific trainings, any different type of cybersecurity training. We have quite the library that can be of a resource to those employees. They're always going to see the courses that they are assigned. So if as a management team, we assign out trainings with a due date, we will have that. But if they're looking for an elective course to come in and take themselves, we do have an AI powered tool on the back end that they can lean on for help. Maybe they are looking to step into a role of leadership and they need to ask, okay, what leadership training is available to me through our Learn and Grow platform? We're able to guide the employees in the correct way, making sure we're providing them with all the resources that we have available. Now, from an administrative perspective, when we're talking about Learn and Grow, you're always going to have the reporting capabilities if we need to see when employees are logging in, what the assignment status, if we need to take a look at any overdue training, so keeping tabs on employees that may not be completing training on time, you're always going to have that information on hand. And if we need to pull reports on certifications, so for example, any type of annual OSHA training or safety training, we do have the report capability as well to pull those out in an Excel file. Everything that the employees complete within Learn and Grow, any certification that they obtain, this automatically updates within their personnel file that's housed within Isolved. Now, moving to the next module that we want to cover, we are going to step into what we call the predictive people analytics tool. Now, as I'm pulling this up, since Mike had mentioned this is an intelligently connected, it is one single database, predictive people analytics, or you'll hear me refer to it as PPA, is really where everything's going to pull together. If you are currently involved with the payroll, or maybe it's the recruiting process alone, I'm looking at a dashboard that I have built out myself that really goes over quite a few different areas of the business, focusing on turnover, time to fill, number of employees. But you can build these dashboards out to really cover whatever metrics or data you're looking to track. You can have as many dashboards as you would like. And if you are currently sending off reports to executive team leaders, say every Monday morning, instead of having to log into the platform, pull those reports and have them sent off, we can schedule dashboards to be emailed ahead of time. Therefore, it's one less manual task off of your plate on the back end. Now, all of our numbers, all of our metrics, everything can be drilled down to. So if we want to take a look at our number of employees, but we only want to look at certain departments, or we want to exclude part-time, or we want to exclude certain groups of employees, that drill down feature is going to give us a lot of flexibility. And then looking at the benchmarking, we're processing payroll for almost 7 million employees. We're able to anonymize their data and provide our clients with salary benchmarking details. This could be salary benchmark, tenure benchmark, and turnover benchmarking. Looking at that turnover detail, this always seems to be a hot topic, so I do like to click into this. Because Isolved is tracking the trends, we're tracking those employees as they're terminating or they're going through the offboarding process. And then we're also tracking the reasons why. We're able to use that predictive AI tool, so AI powered tool in the back end, to forecast out what the next 6 months could potentially look like. Now, because we are tracking those reasons, we can always ask the tool what our high impact items are. I can see in my example that benefit costs and salary are really the big indicators as to why employees may be leaving the company. This gives us some guidance on how we can reduce that turnover in the upcoming future. So it allows us to model, create some variations with that salary, the benefit cost, or whatever those other high impact or medium impact items could be. You are going to notice on my screen that I have at the bottom right hand corner, we call her Monica. We've given her an avatar, we've given her a name. She is configurable, but if you're familiar with a Siri, she works very similar to how Siri works, where she's a virtual assistant. We can ask her questions. How many VPs do we have within a certain department, or what's our average turnover? We can also type into our toolbar, looking at the top in natural language if I'm looking for a specific question and I'm not sure where to go for that. That natural language search does come in handy. So I know that we walked through just really a few of the modules that Michael had touched on, going through that introduction there. I did try and keep an eye on the chat. I did not see anything come through. So Josh, Mike, I don't know if you saw any questions come up. I will absolutely review that. If there's no questions, I will go ahead and turn that back over to Mike.
So our implementation, as I mentioned earlier, takes anywhere from 15 to 60 days. Typically what we do is once we get through the fun paperwork, we really focus a lot of time on the planning side of it. Building a project plan that meets your day-to-day needs, but understands that you also have your day-to-day jobs to do. So we build out a kickoff call where your project manager that's dedicated to you, that is also dedicated to only Acumen clients, we'll all get together and we will work together in conjunction with your insurance broker as well to build out a project plan to fit the timeline of going live. From there, we do a data extraction where we're able to extract any type of payroll data that you have within the third-party system and populate it in Isolved, which eliminates the need for you to have to go through and fill out any type of spreadsheets or loading or balancing or any of that stuff. And the time that you allocate towards the implementation could be spent on the customization and training of it. From there, we have a kickoff call and we have regularly scheduled calls every single week to go through and see where we're at within the project. We do analysis and we do configuration completely to your organization. Then we go through a very thorough quality assurance testing phase where we are loading and balancing everything to the penny before we go live. Once we go live, you stay with your implementation team for a couple of pay periods until that time we will transition you over to your dedicated client service rep. Now, your dedicated client rep will be housed in one of our 13 offices throughout the country, but they will work within your time zone. And they sit in teams of 3 people, so there's always somebody there available for you when you have that need. Great. So what makes Isolved different than our competitors? Increased productivity. We have found in our research that organizations utilizing Isolved are able to save a lot of time and streamline a lot of processes with having a single source of truth within Isolved. Having that single database, having that one point that's configured to your organization, where you're taking Isolved and you're fitting it into your world rather than you having to fit into a third-party payroll company's world. Ensuring performance and engagement, utilizing our share and perform technology and our engagement platform, which includes succession planning and benchmarking, and accelerating decisions utilizing the analytics that are available for you. But also energizing the talent by giving them access to over 180 canned courses within our learning management system, energizing the talent with the engagement of our giving and volunteering, where we integrate with over 2 million nonprofit organizations throughout the world. And you're also reducing risk by having a trusted partner that really cares about the relationship that they have with their clients rather than just a transaction with a shareholder. Now, our bundles and our pricing is very structured, and it's a flat per active employee per month. And our core bundle incorporates all of the key functionalities that an organization will need to get started. So within our core bundle, it has our HRIS functionality. It has all of the payroll and onboarding, as well as the analytics and the volunteering. But then clients can customize the bundle by adding in enrollment and eligibility, or time and attendance, or both. But once again, it's a per active employee per month pricing structure. So whether you pay your employees every single day or every other week, it won't make a difference. It's completely streamlined. So that being said, see if we have a couple of questions here. It looks like Latanya's asked, do we have pay by debit card available? Yes, we do. We have multiple different options for pay card, direct deposit, live checks. We also do have a daily pay option for those employees that need pay advances, that they can get paid in advance based on hours already worked. Rayanne is asking, what tax forms are available and can they be customized to meet payroll tax requirements in our jurisdictions? Yes. So within Isolved is the only system on the market that actually has the tax engine built directly into the code. So as federal and state and local jurisdictions update, it also updates in Isolved. Okay, and we take on all the liability for it too. Now, let's say you hire an employee in some way that you are not registered in that jurisdiction. Isolved will take that on for you as well, and we will take care of all the paperwork to get you registered. Rayanne's asking, performance appraisal and incentive payment available? Yes, definitely. There's a great bonus program in there and a great incentive program. And it's contests. You could put gamification across the board on there as well. And then Latanya, yes, I see your contact information on there. To get in contact with us, you can reach out to your Acumen team. But we will shoot you an email here, Josh, if you don't mind taking down Latanya's email and sending out just our contact information for her as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually talking to her privately, so I'm going to send her an email and I'm going to CC the other team members on here. So
awesome, and we love that you're using Acumen because great resource for us, and we build the integration directly into your Sage product, and we'll be able to tie everything in together for you.
It looks like some more questions came in. Let's see.
Sorry, does the system have a schedule? Yes, we have a full scheduling functionality in here, including shift swapping and budgeting and predictive scheduling as well.
Then does the system have provide electronic pay stubs?
It does. Yep. Not only that, the morning of payday, your employees are notified via email and or text message that they can log in on their line or on the mobile app to get their pay stub. And Max, yes, it can tie right back into your general ledger. We'll create a mapping that'll that will write to your chart of accounts. How do you handle secure buildings? I'm presuming you mean by time and attendance, and access cards. We can program our proximity cards for that, if that is what you mean by that.
So if we have no other questions, we want to thank you all for joining us today. If you do have additional questions, please reach out to your assigned account manager, or you can email Acumen at am@acumenfl.com. We'd also like to say thank you to the Isolved team for putting on an amazing presentation, and we hope to see you at our next webinar Wednesday. Everybody have a great day, and thank you for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you.